Hello, and welcome to Miss Hope's Reading Hour. It is Fabulous FRI-YAY today. It is Friday, and it's almost that wonderful day. It is now the 18th. 7 days. 7 days. And we are on day 10 of 12 days of donations. So, how was your week, my friends? Hopefully you had a good week this week. I know that my friends here in Philadelphia who go to virtual school, of course they had a fabulous Friday because school ends early on Fridays, okay? So for any of you who have had a half day today, I know that you were plenty happy. My nephews were plenty happy. I heard them outside playing in the snow. So for any of you who had snow down, I know I heard on the news that there were some kids in other parts of the country who got a complete snow day. Wish we could have had that. But still had fun in the snow. I went out with them yesterday. We tried to build a snowman. It didn't quite work out the way we wanted it. So they settled for building a snow castle. They will be working on that again in the coming days, depending on how long it takes for the snow to melt or if we have another storm. But we did have fun yesterday. So hopefully you got to sled and roll around in the snow and slide down hills and make snowmen and open your mouth and get some snow on your tongue. Hopefully my young ones and my older young ones got to do all of that stuff. If it snowed where you are. And hopefully you'll get to play in some snow this week, or if you're going to get some. And if you don't have any snow, find something else fun to do. Make some cookies. Make some gifts for people. One thing that I'm thinking of doing this year is giving a gift to the mailman. I've never done that before. Anytime I had a mail carrier that came to my house. But I think it's the first time I've ever had like a regular one that's the same one every day for a long time. So that is something that you can do. My young ones, my older young ones, if you have a mail carrier who is an essential worker that comes to your house every day to bring you mail and packages, that's one thing you can do. Make them a little gift. Give that to them. They would be very surprised and happy. Okay, so we are still talking about the holidays because we are in them right now. I wanted to wear my festive sweater. Okay. I had another sweater, but bleach got on the sweater. So it's a little faded. I have to figure out how to get the festive swan that's on the front. I have to figure out how to get that off and maybe put it on another sweater. But couldn't wear that one today, unfortunately. But this one is festive because, of course, the holidays, one of the most important parts of it is for us to share love with one another. So that's why I was happy to wear this sweater today. And we have, as you can hear from our music and from the teaser, if some of you saw it, we are learning about some of the ways that the holiday is celebrated in Africa. I got two really great books that I want to share with you, in addition to us finding out who is stealing the 12 days of Christmas, okay? And again, I said that we are on our 10th day. Can you believe it? Our 10th day of our 12 days of donations. So today's organization if you can see it up here in the corner, is called Heifer International. So, if you didn't know, the word heifer usually refers to the female species of livestock, like cows or goats. So that is the reason why it is called Heifer International. And I've heard of this organization before. I actually have donated to them before, I believe. I think I did, because usually they don't start sending you mail until you donate. I've donated to Heifer International before. And of course, I encourage you to join with Miss Hope's Reading Hour to donate to Heifer International. And I will tell you some things about them. Let me tell you about their mission. So, our mission: we work hard to end hunger and poverty in partnership with the communities we serve. Our programs support entrepreneurs, meaning people who start their own businesses around the world, creating lasting change from the ground up. It begins with a seed investment of livestock or agriculture, followed by mentorship to help project participants build a business and ultimately to gain access to supply chains and markets. These families are able to earn a living income and continually lift up their communities as they train the next generation of leaders. By supporting and training the world's farmers, ranchers, and female business owners, we're investing in a new breed of success. So basically, what Heifer International does is they work by donating actual livestock, like, I'm sorry, what did they say? Actual livestock like goats and cows and things of that nature to actual families. And sometimes they start out with babies. They start out with like a baby goat, because goats offer a lot. They offer their, or like, why am I not able to think of it? Sheep. There you go. Sheep. Because they offer ways that the families can make money so that they are able to feed themselves. They can shear their coats, like their wool or their hair, and sell that, or they can milk them and sell their milk and also receive nourishment from that very milk. So Heifer works to give these families these actual money making animals. And they also help with agriculture. Agriculture meaning when you're growing crops. So you can actually gift a family with your donation. You can gift them seeds and equipment to start a business where they become farmers. That is amazing. I think that's the reason why I liked the idea of Heifer International so much, because not just money that someone else is using to give someone something to help them, which is all fine and good. That is wonderful. But this organization is actually giving families these resources and teaching them how to use them so that, yes, we can give you food, we can give you these animals, we can give you this equipment, but we're going to mentor and help you to create your own business that will nourish your family and help others and help you to start your own business. That is amazing. And they do this all over the world and here in the United States. Let me read you about Heifer International. So the history of it: 75 years of lasting change. This started 75 years ago. More than 75 years, Heifer International has worked with people all around the world to end hunger and poverty and care for the earth. In 1944, Dan West began outlining a simple but groundbreaking plan to tackle hunger around the world. West, a farmer in the Midwest and Church of the member, had recently returned from feeding weary refugees during volunteer service in the Spanish Civil War. He'd seen firsthand that giving people food was a short term solution, whereas providing them with animals offered a steady supply of nutritious food for the entire family. His philosophy still inspires Heifer's work today. Partner with farmers across a range of different livestock and crops, we create unique solutions to local challenges. Together, we build inclusive, resilient economies so communities can develop effective ways to end global hunger and poverty in a sustainable way. These days, Heifer International generally provides animals to participating families through local channels in the countries we serve. But early on, the organization shipped livestock to from the United States to other countries. That is amazing. During their travels, these animals were cared for by seagoing cowboys, ranchers, and farmers who aided Heifer in its mission by lending their expertise in animal husbandry and agriculture. That is amazing. So, my young ones, if you love animals, there is an actual career called animal husbandry, taking care of livestock. That's an actual career that you can get into and have and be able to live on it and help feed other people through taking care of livestock. That's pretty amazing. So I could read so much more about Heifer and what they do. They actually have a catalog, a holiday catalog, that when you go on the website, you can ask them to send it to you. And you can, along with other people, if you want to donate it yourself, you can. You can donate an animal to a family. And if it's too much for you to donate on your own, you can get along with your family or your friends, donate together, and come together with your funds and donate a cow, a goat, a sheep to an actual family, or farming equipment and seeds. It's just amazing. So I would encourage you to join with Miss Hope's Reading Hour and donate to Heifer International by going to their website, which is heifer.org, heifer.org. And right there, you will see a donate button. You click on it and you can donate. Now, my friends, disclaimer time. The wonderful music that you hear and the books that we will read today, Miss Hope and Miss Hope's Reading Hour do not own any of the rights to it, but it is here for your listening and reading enjoyment. Now let's get to the books. Our first book is called Christmas in Lagos. Christmas in Lagos, which is a country in Africa. This book is by Aaron Amibola Salu, illustrated by Maria Nikla. Christmas in Lagos. We will see who the publisher of this book is once we start reading. And a story based on our organization of today. It's called Beatrice's Goat. And it is written by Paige McBriar, illustrated by Lori Lostoter. I'm sorry, I might have butchered that. Lostoter. And this is an Aladdin paperbacks, Simon and Schuster book. And of course, we gotta get back to it. Who is Stealing the 12 Days of Christmas? By Tamara, no, I'm sorry, yes, by Martha Freeman. Sorry, Tamara was the last person. By Martha Freeman, a scholastic book. Now for our first book, Christmas in Legos. A cold, dry wind blew in from the Sahara Desert. Look at that beautiful city. And into Ranti's room. This was Harmattan, which meant one thing: Christmas was on its way. As she got ready for school, Ranti's younger brother, Debo, rushed into her room. 10 days till Christmas, he yelled. Ranti was excited too. Christmas meant new clothes and shoes. It was the last day of school. Miss Ani, the class teacher, asked the students to share what they planned to do over the Christmas holidays. Some of Ranti's classmates were going abroad with their families and called out all the faraway places they would visit. New York, said Kamsi. London, said Ladipo. Paris, said Hawa. Ranti said nothing. What about you, Ranti? Miss Ani asked. Ranti did not want to speak up. She imagined her classmates going ice skating, building frosty snowmen, eating tasty chocolates, and taking fancy pictures. Kamsi would visit Times Square. Ladipo would visit Buckingham Palace. Hawa would see the Eiffel Tower. What about Ranti? There was no snow in Lagos, no tower to see, nothing exciting to do. This will be the most boring Christmas ever, she told Miss Ani. No, Christmas in Lagos is very special. Open your eyes and look closer. But how? Ranti asked. Write down everything that happens over the Christmas holidays, said Miss Ani. So Ranti got a journal and started writing. On December 16th, she wrote, I wonder what happened that day. Mummy took me to Balogun Market today. It was very hot. People walking very fast. I didn't like the noise from the cars or the shouting, but I liked the Christmas songs playing on the radio. Mummy bought me and Debo new clothes and shoes. We can't wear them until Christmas. I can't wait. On December 17th, she wrote, we passed by the airport. Daddy said the aeroplanes are full of people coming to Lagos for Christmas. Grandma and Grandpa came from Abeokuta, this afternoon. I was so happy. I ran and hugged them. They will be spending Christmas with us. Grandma said I look taller. I told her I've been eating lots of beans. After dinner, Grandpa told us the story of how the lion became the king of the jungle. I love his stories. On December 18th, which is today, she wrote, "We went to the amusement park today. Guess what? I saw Father Christmas. He gave me a toy puppy. Debo got a toy train. I want a real puppy, but Mummy said not yet. After lunch, we visited an orphanage and gave food and clothes to the children. I gave a small girl my toy puppy because she was crying. Debo put his train in his pocket." He's like, "I'm not giving up my train." On December 19th, she wrote, "Aunt Lola got married today. She looked so beautiful. We ate lots of food and danced. On the way home, I saw bright billboards and Christmas lights. I wish I could see them every day." Look at that. Looked like a beautiful wedding to me. On December 20th, she wrote, "Our neighbor, Mrs. Joseph, has a dog called Daisy. Today gave birth to 8 puppies. Miss Joseph let me carry one of them. It licked my face. Mommy says I take good care of Debo. I'm sure I could take care of a puppy too. I mean, if you can take care of a little brother, I don't see why you can't take care of a puppy." On December 22nd, she wrote, "Today we went to church for a Christmas concert. The choir sang special Christmas songs in different languages." That looked like a beautiful concert. Then we lit candles and sang carols. Finally, they lit a huge Christmas tree. I loved it. That looks like a beautiful tree. Finally, Christmas Day came. The sound of banger and fireworks filled the air. Everyone was excited. Christmas was here at last. So bangers are firecrackers. Ranti wore her new dress and shoes. She twirled and twirled and twirled until she felt dizzy. She loved her new outfit. It made her feel special. The whole family went to church that morning. "We celebrate the birth of Jesus today," said the pastor. "Jesus, his best gift to mankind because he loves us. Spread love and joy this season." Ranti wrapped her arms around her family and whispered, "I love you." "We love you too," they chorused. After church, they went home and celebrated Christmas with, oh, I wonder what they celebrated Christmas with. Let us see. Plates piled high with jollof rice, fried plantains, chicken, suya, and other goodies. Oh man, those are some of my favorite things. I love jollof rice. I love fried plantains. I know how to make them myself. Throughout the day, people came to visit. Everyone had something to eat and drink. They wished each other Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. Before sunset, Miss Joseph arrived. In her arms, she carried a little puppy. "This is for you, Ronti," she said. "A real puppy?" Ronti squealed. To the puppy, she whispered, "I think I'll call you Tickles." He yelped. That's a cute name. Oh, uh-oh. Before going to bed, Ronti wrote in her diary, 25th, today was the best Christmas ever. I wore my new dress and shoes and ate lots of food. Guess what? I have a puppy, a real one, not a toy. He's so cute and cuddly. But what I really enjoyed was spending time with my family. On the first day back at school, Ronti read her Christmas journal to the class. Everyone clapped. "Thank you, Miss Ani. I had the best Christmas ever," said Ronti. Miss Ani smiled. "I knew you would." the That was an awesome story. I love that. Christmas in Legos. It's a beautiful story with beautiful pictures. I love this story. Sometimes you can think, everyone else is going on trips and doing special stuff, or they might be getting these wonderful gifts, or their family lives in this certain place, and think that, well, my holiday isn't going to be so great. But if you take a look a little closer, you can see that your holiday or your time with your family can be just as special or even more. You might, especially during this time when we can't move around so much, take a closer look at either what you can do or what you already do that's special, that makes your holiday traditions special. Now, one thing that you can do to make someone else's holiday more special is to donate to our organization number 10, Heifer International, where you can gift, or they can put your donations together with someone else's to gift a family with not just the ability to feed themselves once or twice, but the ability for the family to be able to make money to sustain themselves and not ever have to deal with food insecurity or hunger, and also start a new business. You can do that. Whatever little bit that you can give, because guess what? A little bit put together with other little bits makes a whole lot. And that whole lot can help someone else in their family start a business that can feed them and help their community. So please go to Heifer, HEIFER.org. It's right down there in the ticker, and donate to Heifer International. All right, now let's hear a little bit about the organization through this story, Beatrice's Goat, written by Paige McBriar. This is, again, a first Aladdin paperbacks book. So these two books are by the same publisher. All right. Sometimes you got to bend your book a little bit so that we can open it up all the way. Sometimes you got to bend it a little bit. There you go. And the pictures in this book are really beautiful too. If you were to visit the small African village of Kisinga in the rolling hills of eastern Uganda, and if you were to take a left at the crossroads and follow a narrow dirt path between two tall banana groves, you would come to the home of a girl named Beatrice. Beatrice lives here with her mother and 5 younger brothers and sisters in a sturdy mud house with a fine steel roof. The house is new, so is the shiny blue wooden furniture inside. In fact, many things are new to Beatrice and her family lately. Look at those beautiful pictures. It's all because of a goat named Mugisa. Beatrice loves everything about Mugisa. The feel of her coarse brown and white coat, the way her chin hairs curl just so, and how Mugisa gently teases her by butting her knobby horns against Beatrice's hand, tup, tup, like a drumbeat waiting for a song. But there is one reason why Beatrice loves Mugisa most of all. In the time before Mugisa has spent her days helping her mama hoe and plant in the fields, tend the chickens, watch the younger children, and grind the cassava flour that they would take to market to sell. It's what a lot of children do around the world. They work to help their parents to make money. Once in a while, when she was tending baby Pascava, Beatrice would stop by the schoolhouse. Often the students had carried their long wooden benches outside to work under the cool shade of the jackfruit trees. Then Beatrice would stand quietly off to one side, pretending she was a student too. Oh, how she longed to be a schoolgirl. How she yearned to sit on one of the benches and figure sums on a small slate chalkboard. How she wished to turn the pages of a worn copybook and study each word over and over until it stuck in her mind like a burr. I'll never be able to go to school, she would sigh. How could I ever save enough money to pay for books or a uniform? One day, while Beatrice was busy pulling weeds, Mama came to her with dancing eyes. Beatrice, some kind-hearted people from far away have given us a lucky gift. We are one of 12 village families to receive a goat. Beatrice was puzzled. A goat? What kind of gift was a goat? It couldn't get up each morning and start their charcoal fire for cooking. It couldn't hike down to the stream each week and scrub their dirty clothes clean. It couldn't keep an eye on Grace, Moses, Harriet, Joash, and Pascavia. Her long fingers tugged patiently at the weeds. That's very nice, Mama, she said politely. Then Mama added, it will be your job to take care of a goat. If you do, it will bring wonderful things. Beatrice looked up at her mother. Will this goat come soon? She asked. Because I would like to meet such a goat. Mama laughed. Good things take time. First, I must plant pastures and build our goat a shed. Beatrice nodded slowly. Surely Mama knew what she was doing. I will help you, she declared. For the next few months, Beatrice worked harder than ever. She helped Mama collect the posts for the shed walls, then lashed the posts together with banana fibers. She planted narrow bands of stiff elephant grass along the edges of their cassava field. She put in pigeon trees and lab vines between the banana trees. She wants to meet this goat. Finally, one day, Beatrice's goat arrived, fat and sleek as a ripe mango. Beatrice stood shyly with her brothers and sisters, then stepped forward and circled the goat once. She knelt close, inspecting its round belly, and ran her hand along its smooth back. Mama says you are our lucky gift, she whispered. So that is what I will name you, Mugisa, luck. 2 weeks later, Mugisa gave birth. It was Beatrice who discovered first one kid and then, to her surprise, another. Twins, she exclaimed, stooping down to examine them. See that, my Mugisa? You have already brought us two wonderful things. Beatrice named the first kid Mulindwa, which means expected, and the second Kihembo, or surprise. Each day, Beatrice made sure Mugisa got extra elephant grass and water to help her produce lots of milk, even though it another long trip down to the stream and back. When the kids no longer needed it, Beatrice took her own first taste of Mugisa's milk. Sweet, she said, mixing the rest into her cup of breakfast porridge. Beatrice knew Mugisa's milk would help them all, would keep them all much healthier. Now, each morning after breakfast, Beatrice would head off to the shed to sell whatever milk was left over. Open for business, she would say, in case anyone was listening. Often she would spot her friend Bunan coming through the banana groves. Good morning, Beatrice, Mugisa, expected and surprised, Bunan would say always. Then he would hand Beatrice a tall pail that she would fill to the top with Mugisa's milk. When Beatrice finished pouring, Bunan would hand her a shiny coin, and Beatrice would carefully tuck the money into the small woven purse at her side. Day after day, week after week, Beatrice watched the purse get fuller. Soon there would be enough money for a new shirt for Moses and a warm blanket for the bed she shared with Grace. One day, Beatrice returned from collecting water and noticed Mama frowning and counting the money in her woven purse. Beatrice put down the water can and rushed to her mother's side. Mama, what is it? She asked. What's wrong? Oh, I hope nothing happened to her coins. As she looked up, Mama's frown turned into a small smile. I think, she said, you may just have saved enough to pay for school. School? Beatrice gasped in disbelief. What about all the other things we need? First things first, Mama said. Beatrice threw her arms around her mother's neck. Oh, Mama, thank you. Then she ran to where her goat stood, chewing her cud, and hugged her tight. Oh, Mugisa, she whispered, today I am the lucky one. You have given me the gift I wanted most. The very next week, Beatrice started. On the first morning that she was to attend, she sat proudly waiting for milk customers in her new yellow blouse and blue jumper, Mugisa by her side. Beatrice felt nervous and excited at the same time. Mugisa pressed close, letting her coarse coat brush softly against Beatrice's cheek. Oh, Mugisa, Beatrice cried, I'll miss you today. Then she thought again about all the good things Mugisa was bringing. Mama said that soon Surprise would be sold for a lot of money. It will be enough to tear down this old house, she exclaimed. We will be able to put up a new one with a steel roof that won't leak during the rains. Wow. Beatrice heard a rustle and noticed Bunan heading toward her with his empty milk pail. He eyed her new uniform and sighed. You're so lucky. I wish I could go to school. Beatrice reached out and touched Bunan's arm. I've heard that your family is next in line to receive a goat. A smile crossed Bunan's face. Really? Really? Then Amstress kissed Mugisa on the soft part of her nose, close to where her chin hairs curled just so, and started off to school. The end. What an awesome story. So, if when I first told you about Heifer International, if you were wondering how in the world could a cow or a goat or a sheep, how could that be good for a family? Beatrice was wondering the same thing. But look at all the gifts that Mugisa brought to the family. She brought two more goats that she gave birth to, one that will be sold for a lot of money, which will be able to build them a new house. She could milk Mugisa, which nourished her family and gave the family enough money to pay for her new uniform and books. Did you know, my young ones, that in other places around the world, it is not free to go to school? So, the next time you go back to school, be grateful and thankful that here in these United States, if you want to, you can go to school for free, because there are not a lot of places around the world where you get to go for free. Okay? So, that is the story of how a family benefited from a donation to Heifer International. A new house, money to be able to go to school, nourishment for the family, and to help the community be able to buy nourishing milk as well. Please do join with Miss Hope's Reading Hour and donate to Heifer International at heifer.org. Perfect story to let you know how that one gift brought so many blessings to that one family, that one donation. All right, my friends, you know where we gotta go. We gotta go back to Chickadee Court and find out what is happening and who is stealing the 12 days of Christmas. So, Alex finally told Yasmin about his little chase with the person who stole a swan from his house. Okay? And he told her about the piece of paper that was in his pocket. He hadn't looked at it yet. He didn't tell her about the mice he had in his pocket. But he told her about the paper. Come to find out, it is a map of Chickadee Court with everyone's houses labeled, except for Bub's, because his is not decorated. Now they need to find out who made this map. Looks like it was drawn by a kid. Possibly it was drawn really fast, and that's why it looks a little sloppy. Who knows? We are now in chapter 15. Gotta find out who is stealing 12 days of Christmas. Chapter 15. It was still freezing cold. A few hours ago, I had nearly lost my toes chasing a black shape. I had gotten about a half night's sleep. Imagine how thrilled I was to be going outside to hunt for my own plastic swan. And what if we find it? I asked Yasmin. What will it tell us? I don't know. She pulled her hat down over her ears. Ready? Our plan was to retrace my route from last night. In our front yard, I counted the swans again. Yup, still 6. We started down the sidewalk toward Mr. Stone's house. Only a dusting of snow had fallen overnight. There were footprints here and there. Some must have been mine. Some must have been the shapes. There was a faint bike tire track on the street. That must have been Michael's from when he delivered newspapers earlier. But there was no obvious trail for Yasmin and me to follow. The wind had messed everything up. As we walked, I thought really intelligent thoughts, like how I was glad to be wearing snow boots instead of slippers, and how it was time for the D'Agostinos to touch up the paint on the 5 golden hula hoops. But Yasmin's brain never quits. She was thinking about the case. If treasure map, someone must have been looking for a treasure, she said. What? I said. Oh, right. I tried to concentrate. The best I could do was fake birds aren't a very good treasure. Exactly, she said. So here's what I think. It was some treasure hidden inside the birds. They were all hollow, right? I thought for a minute. Hollow, yeah. But the rubber ducky is dinky. Plus, it doesn't have a big hole in its bottom the way the other ones do. You'd have to cut the bottom out or something. Yasmin shrugged. Maybe the treasure is dinky too. You mean a small treasure inside of each of the birds, I said. And whoever it was took them, looked inside, and returned them? Yes, said Yasmin. That explains it. Why the birds come back. This was so brilliant that I stopped walking. For a second, it seemed like Yasmin had solved the whole thing. Then I realized there was just a few tiny details we didn't know yet. Did they find what they were looking for? I don't know. And what were they looking for? I don't know that either, Yasmin said. And here's another question. Who are they anyway? And for that matter, who's the other they? What other they? I was confused. There's the they who was stealing the birds, and the they who had the map. 2 different theys. So much for solving the whole thing. I was back to baffled. I started walking again. Yasmin was grinning. Isn't this fun? She said. No, I said. I hate thinking this hard. Oh, don't be such a loser. I bet we find that swan. Then we'll have another clue. And meanwhile, we should think about what other clues we have. What about the price tag for the stupid mouse? I thought of something. And as soon as I thought of it, I thought idiot I was for not thinking it sooner. Then I thought of how I couldn't tell Yasmin. Then I thought of how much I hated not being able to tell Yasmin. I did so much thinking. It must have showed on my face. Yasmin looked over and said, "What's the matter?" I shook my head. Nothing. I sealed my lips. Well, it's certainly something, she said, because you look like the old woman who swallowed a fly. I shook my head again. I was in my mouth. If I did, I would tell her everything. I wasn't used to keeping secrets. I didn't think I was going to be very good at it either. We stopped at Mr. Stone's gate. 3 of the 4 homemade calling birds were in their tree where they belonged. They really did look good even in daylight. They were handmade out of paper mache. Now his kids were all grown up, and his wife was dead, and he lived in this big house by himself. Where did the shape go from here? Yasmin asked. I showed her the trees by the side of the house where it disappeared. I pointed at the hedge it had hurdled. Wow, she said. Did you jump over the hedge too? Not precisely, I said. I still think you're brave, she said. And since you're brave, you can be the one who rings Mr. Stone's doorbell and asks for permission to go swan hunting. What? Alex, be reasonable. We can't swan hunt without asking, she said, especially at Mr. Stone's. He'll yell at us. I used up all my brave last night, I said. Your turn. We argued. Pretty much Yasmin always wins when we argue. But this time, no one had a chance to win. In the middle, Mr. Stone opened up his front door. What's all the racket? Can't an old man enjoy a winter morning in peace? Someone had to say something. Since Yasmin didn't, I elected. Sorry, we were just wondering. They started to explain about the swan, but Mr. Stone cut me short. It's uncivilized to converse at this distance. If you have something to say, come up here. You too, Miss Pop. On the front step, I picked up Mr. Stone's newspaper and handed it to him. Then I started over again, explaining. Now Mr. Stone said it was too cold to keep the door open. We'd better come inside. We were both scared, but we went. It was dark in Mr. Stone's front hallway. It smelled sweet, though. He was cooking something. I explained fast. At the end, I said, would you mind if we looked around your yard for the swan? Mr. Stone said he had no objection. Then he surprised us. In my experience, he said, there are 2 kinds of people, those who like marshmallows in their hot chocolate and those who like whipped cream. I come down firmly on the side of marshmallows. What about you? For a minute, I thought poor Mr. Stone might be the tiniest amount cuckoo. Then I realized that the sweet smell was hot chocolate on the stove, and the question made more sense. Marshmallows, I said. Marshmallows, said Yasmin. Then you're in luck, said Mr. Stone, because I just brought a fresh bag. Come on in the kitchen. While he fixed us hot chocolate, Mr. Stone told us his grandchildren preferred whipped cream. He blamed his daughter Susan for that. Obviously, she had done something wrong in raising them. Still, the grandchildren were coming for Christmas, and he supposed he would have to purchase some whipped cream. Kind in the can was what they preferred. Mr. Stone shook his head sadly. Yasmin took a sip of her hot chocolate. Then, Her donuts after church training kicked in. Is Susan the same daughter that made the calling birds? We all made the calling birds, Mr. Stone said. But Susan's was a little different from the others. She insisted it had to have pink eyes. There was no reasoning with her. So pink eyes it has. I never noticed, I said. No, you wouldn't from the street, said Mr. Stone. Only close up. I hope the thief is amused. You mean that's the one that's missing? Yasmin asked. Mr. Stone nodded. I'm glad you two are investigating at least. Perhaps you'll find a clue. With all due respect to your mother, Alex, the police don't seem terribly interested. That one officer came and took a report. I haven't heard a thing since. By now, we had finished our hot chocolate. Look around all you want, Mr. Stone told us. But do keep your voices down for an old man, won't you? Outside, Yasmin took charge. It will go faster if we split up. You try the trees over by the Swansons. I'll try by the corner of the house where you saw the shape last. Well, now we will stop there. So there is another clue. One of the swans was a little different than the others, thanks to Mr. Stone's daughter, Susan. And he's a little nicer than the kids thought, offering them hot chocolate with marshmallows. I would also enjoy that as well. Okay? But the birds that are missing, did they all have something a little different about the other ones that were in their respective yards? That is a clue. Are they going to look into it? Why are the police not so interested in this thievery of the 12 days of Christmas decorations? And we still have to deal with, okay, the robbery at Mega Menagerie and mice that were found in the pail of the maids of milking. Okay, more clues. This is what's happening in this story. We're not finding anything out except for clues. So now we have to piece the clues together. I'm telling you, just like Belly Up, you're going to piece the clues together at the end and find out exactly who did everything. That's what's going to happen. Okay? Now we are at the end of Miss Hope's reading hour. Please make sure to go to Heifer International and make a donation that can help a family nourish themselves, their community, and even start a business that will help their whole family. Okay? The website again is heifer.org, heifer.org. Make sure to donate today and join with Miss Hope's Reading Hour in donating. And I will see you back here on a marvelous Monday. Have a great week. Go out into the snow if there is more snow where you are. If there is not, find some fun that you can do with your family and make some memories, okay? Just because your holiday isn't like anyone else's doesn't mean that your traditions and your memories are any less wonderful, okay? We learned that from Christmas and Legos, all right? Well, I will see you on our Marvelous Monday broadcast. Have a great weekend. Have fun. Make some cookies. Have some hot chocolate. I like both of them, whipped cream or marshmallows, okay? And I will see you right back here. Have a wonderful weekend. Thanks for being with me today. Bye for now.